Sunday nights, baby.
Prime time.
Sunday night football. That's what stars are for.
Let the games begin.
The whole world watching. Let's go.
Waiting all day for Sunday night. Let's get it. Stephon Diggs. Bills take the lead.
The special team wins it for you. On a board, Jets. You ready for prime time?
I will not lose. This is my moment. You will not forget it.
Justin Herbert.
This is for history.
First of his career.
I am the future.
Spins to his right.
The top is my target.
Sidearm touchdown. Jalen Hurts. He's in. Touchdown.
Do it again.
Number 3 on the day for Jamal.
Let the games begin. It's showtime. Prime time. Let the games begin.
Go Chargers, go.
He has brought his A game tonight.
I'm born to win.
Stop it.
It's showtime. Like prime time. Let the games begin.
Watch this.
It's showtime.
Sunday Night Football from the beautiful SoFi Stadium in Southern California. That's where you will find Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and they're sitting in the driver's seat for the top seed in the AFC. And tonight, they take on their division rivals, Justin Herbert and the Chargers, hoping to bounce back from their loss to San Francisco last Sunday night. Hello and welcome in the studio, everyone, to Football Night in America. Maria Taylor alongside Tony Dungy and Jason Garrett. And this is round 2 of Chiefs and Chargers. We saw them in week 2, and it was ultimately the Chiefs that got the win 27-24. What do you think is different, or what did you learn from the first meeting, Coach, that you expect to see again?
Well, I learned that there's going to be a lot of footballs in the air tonight. 2 great quarterbacks. So what I want to see is the protection. Who gets protection, and specifically, who can handle Khalil Mack? Can Kansas City handle him? Or can the Chargers handle Chris Jones? Who gets blocked the best? That's going to determine the game.
You're absolutely right, Coach. It always starts up front. But you and I have both teach this next man up philosophy a lot through the years. A guy gets hurt, hey, put the next guy in there. And what you find out sometimes is the next guy's not quite as good as the guy who's playing. Keenan Allen will be back. Mike Williams will be back for the Chargers tonight. Hopefully they get that vertical passing game going again.
Well, no Mecole Hardman or Juju Smith-Schuster, though, for the Chiefs. So it will be next man up. Meanwhile, the Chiefs are sitting atop the AFC. On the NFC side, it's the Eagles. But we were all wondering, Jason, would they be able to bounce back after their first loss of the season? Which leads me to what matters most, and you believe it was their comeback win against
Yeah, no question about it. The best pitchers and the best teams find a way to win when they don't have their best stuff. This is Jalen Hurts to Quez Watkins. They were behind early. The big pass and then the big run late by Hurts. And there's Nick Sirianni, the Eagles head coach. He's having some fun afterwards.
And in New England, Jason, the Patriots are discovering their winning formula with this year's team. It starts with the pass rush, aggressiveness up front, typical Bill Belichick, blitzes, confusing people, and an aggressive secondary. This defense is playing well. Special teams is playing well. Very few mistakes on offense. That's how they're going to win.
I'm going to be honest. The winning formula for the Patriots is just put the Jets on the field. They won their 14 straight. We'll get to the highlight. That was very mean.
14 in a row, though.
I heard you don't want to talk about quarterbacks.
It's the second week in a row. I'm going to show some love to some other positions here, Maria, and especially a crazy thing, the run game. Holy cow, we saw a run game in Buffalo today. Yes, the game was in Detroit, but we saw James Cook, Devin Singletary, and not everything be thrown on Josh Allen's shoulders to carry the squad. This could be something to watch for with this Buffalo Bills team to close some games out in the fourth quarter. The Lions, windy day in the Meadowlands, doesn't matter. When you play defense, you run the ball like this with DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams. You know what happens? You get a victory on the road. Good for the Fighting Dan Campbells. They're 4-6 in Detroit. Okay, and then watch out for the Commanders. We know the D is real. Antonio Gibson, Robinson running the ball. They have a little running game. They're starting to dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and they got weapons in the pass game. I like what the Commanders are doing. 3 teams got the run game going today, Maria. Took a little love away from the quarterbacks finally. Back over to you.
All right, let's get a little love out in Southern California. Jack Conworth, Rodney Harrison, taking in the sunshine outside of SoFi.
Maria, if you know us, you know we love the West Coast of this country.
Hey, give it up for the military and the Charger fans.
Over here, too. And last time we were in this stadium, the Rams won the Super Bowl. Now the Chargers trying to become the talk of this town in Philly. They were the talk of the league until that loss to Washington on Monday night. So how did they avoid dropping 2 straight, talking Philly?
Well, it comes down to the Eagles' defense. I was thoroughly impressed with what they did in the second half. They only gave up 20 yards to Jonathan Taylor. They had 4 sacks, constant
pressure, but also Ndamukong Suh, who just signed, he had a half a sack. Linval Joseph. Remember, Jordan Davis will be back in a few weeks. It's going to significantly help out this run game. I can't wait to see it.
The reinforcements have arrived there in Philly. And out here in LA, check out the drumline hot rod. We got the Chiefs. We got the Chargers. It's always a show when you come to LA.
There's Derwin James taking a little barefoot stroll around the field.
California.
Yeah, no big deal. You know, this summer the Chargers made Derwin James the highest paid safety in NFL history, and his head coach, Brandon Staley, calls him the heartbeat of their defense. And recently, our brother, Michael Smith, caught up with the two-time Pro Bowler for the latest edition of Get Set.
1, 2, 3, oh, give me 2.
I had a person that knows you well say that he's never seen a more liked player, not just among his teammates, but throughout the league. What do you attribute that to?
Just being able to not be fake, man, be real and authentic. I feel like people gravitate towards real, and they know what's real, and they know when you're trying to be a coach pet. And then just treating everybody with respect, man.
I've heard that they got this effect on Madden where if you get it, your whole team.
Everybody, X Factor effect. Yeah. That's what I need. Yeah, I need that, man.
They go play fake. Mahomes. Chargers able to get the pressure and bring him down.
Everybody got that bounce. Everybody got that swag to them. You know, that's what I want to bring. Energy. I want to bring life. I want to bring all that to the team.
Upended and driven into the ground.
Talk about that Travis Kelce play, man, early in the year.
I knew the goal line was like right behind me, so I'm like, I can't give ground, and he gonna try to power me through the end zone. That's gonna look bad. So like I gotta stand my ground, and you know I connected good, and once I felt them, I kind of lifted and just tried to drop him.
Then he said you asked him if he was all right.
Yeah, I did.
You good, brother? That's a hell of a player.
Even though you like a hunter on the field, you still got time to be a nice guy.
Yeah. Now look at it. If I hit you and I talk trash to you, it's gonna motivate you. You're gonna get excited. You ready to go. But if I hit you and I'm like, yo, all right, it kind of messes with your head even more, right?
That's a good point.
That's my new favorite thing. Forget trash talk. You good, brother?
Yeah, I never heard him put quite like that.
No big deal. I do this all the time.
Hey, the incredible conversation with Michael Smith and Derwin James is on the NFL and NBC YouTube channel, and it obviously appears that you guys had a great time. What was your biggest takeaway from spending time with him?
Well, that's what makes him such a great leader. As great a player as he is individually, he's so consumed with raising everybody else's level of play. General Manager Tom Telesco told me that he's never been around a better practice player. Even though he's always got a smile on his face, he knows how to push everybody. He's always on the edge, the right side of the edge, and he knows how to push everybody in a positive direction. Something about what I just said shocked you.
Tom Telesco said that.
General Manager of the Chargers, best practice player
He
I've
was
ever
with
seen.
us in Indianapolis. We had Peyton Manning, who was a great practice player. We had Bob Sanders, who I had to take out of practice because he was such a good player. If Derwin James is better than those guys, I want to see him practice.
It's crazy. I covered him at Florida State in college, too. He would talk about putting up pillows and practicing in the dorm by himself. So you're right. He just has like this love of football. But I noticed something. He has like a button up on underneath his jersey. Is that that's a thing?
Business Fridays. They like to button things up.
Okay.
Literally and figuratively at the end of the week.
Okay, that makes sense. And I like that you showed up with buttons, too. Let's talk about Travis Kelce going against Derwin James, because so far in their meeting since 2018, he's only allowed 4 receptions for 14 yards, Coach.
Well, Kelce is a spectacular player, and James matches up with him at times.
Yeah, he's one of the few players in the league who can physically match up with Kelce. The size, the length, the athleticism, the speed, but maybe more than anything else, his competitiveness. He wants the matchup all over the field, and they've had some great ones in the past.
Yeah, and here's one where he wasn't matched up on him all the way, but he ends up with him.
He's matched up at the end of
this is the play he was talking about.
The play.
I wonder what Derwin James' football IQ is, if there's a measurement for that. Like, I'd love to take a test with this guy. How smart do you have to be to play all those different positions that he plays?
It's got to be fantastic because they use him everywhere.
It's way high. He's such an impactful player as a cover guy, as a tackler, but then as a blitzer, he just keeps showing up. And I love that whole Madden thing, you know, the energy that he provides. He provides the energy.
Guys,
you can see it and feel it.
He's been in the league since 2018, but he's only played 45 regular season games because of injury. Still an ascending player, still getting better, and that's scary.
He hasn't even reached his peak. He plays all over the field, and we've said so many great things. I'm sure Jack and Rodney could come up with even more great things to say about him at SoFi.
Rodney, he holds safeties to the highest standard, as you guys know. And Derwin James, he's been at the top of your charts for a while. He's a little like you. This guy could just do it all.
He's the most versatile safety in the NFL, and each week they ask him to do something just a little different. Last week, it was getting close to the line of scrimmage, get in the box. He had 13 tackles and a forced fumble. Tonight, just like the crew was talking about, I expect him to play a lot more man-to-man coverage. You sit back in zone, he's going to absolutely kill you. Derwin James has had success against Travis Kelce. We'll see if that continues tonight.
He's got that matchup with Patrick Mahomes, with Travis Kelce. Mahomes, he's got that LeBron James factor, right? He's so unique. You look for others that can challenge that greatness instead of just stepping back and appreciating it. How do you try to slow down the MVP favorite?
One is never give up on the play, because you never know what's going to happen. And you look at Khalil Mack right here, you never know where Patrick Mahomes is going to go, who he's going to throw the ball to. So you constantly have to hustle. You got to get to the ball. We need everybody getting to the ball. You can't take anything for granted, because Patrick Mahomes is that great. We know he's got eyes behind his head. He is just incredible.
He really is. The Chargers are doing some great work out here in Southern California as well, along with the Rams. They went to local high schools and launched a girls flag football league. The jerseys were unveiled right here at SoFi Stadium. 300 girls were in attendance for that from all 16 participating schools to find a flag league near you. Visit playfootball.com. They sure do, Hot Rod. They sure do.
I would like you to meet the cutest members of the Chargers family. This is Brisket, the team's official service dog in training. Obviously an MVP for the Chargers. This is Winston, though, the defensive lineman Morgan Fox's French Bulldog. He was the runner-up at this year's Westminster Dog Show. I know, right? And is competing in the National Dog Show on Thanksgiving after the parade right here on NBC. Winston might make a run.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, I can see it.
Watching. My daughter's in the honor.
Guys, this game just finished. How about this walk-off touchdown pass from Carr to Devontae Adams? The Raiders get the win over the Broncos. Wave good night.
Coaches, you think they might want to cover Devontae Adams? He's getting good.
Cover him, but get in the screen.
All right, we'll have more from that later on that battle for the AFC West basement. But now let's go to the Rams taking on the Saints in the Superdome. Andy Dalton putting on a clinic in this.
He really did. One of his best games of the year. And then, hey, when we questioned whether he'd be the starting quarterback this week, he found Jarvis Landry. He found Chris Olave often in this one. Flying by Jalen Ramsey here for a big touchdown for the Saints.
Chris Olave finished with 5 receptions, 102 yards, 1 touchdown. Dalton, 21 of 25 for 260 and 3.
Way to go, Andy Dalton. Chris Olave is special.
We also saw Matthew Stafford leave with injury. We'll come back to that. Fans dressed up as Mike Ditka for a bachelor party, Coach. But the Falcons would make it difficult to celebrate.
Yes, Cordero Patterson fumbled earlier, made up for it with this record-breaking kickoff return.
Patterson's 9th kickoff return for a touchdown, sets the NFL record. Yeah, put the crown on his head because he is the king of kickoff returns. After taking a couple big hits, Justin Fields throws this interception to end the game.
He did what he normally does, moved around, but that was an off-target throw, and this is more concerning.
Yeah, him walking off holding that left shoulder. We will have an update after this, but the Falcons saying sorry for ruining the Bear bachelor party. Sorry, baby Mike Ditka, you lost. The Commanders taking on the Texans. Commanders coming off a huge win against Philly, but before the game, players and coaches honored the 3 Virginia players that were slain earlier this week. Into the first quarter, it was Davis Mills being intercepted by Kendall Fuller, and that's how the Commanders would score their first touchdown.
Washington played inspired ball all day. It started with their defense, the big takeaway by Fuller, but love the complimentary football they're playing. Scott Turner doing a great job running that football. This time Curtis Samuel, but playing the game together. Taylor Heineke getting it done for the Commanders.
Yeah, he's 4-1 as a starter, but let's talk defense. Chris Sims. How about this? Montez Sweat and Jonathan Allen both had 2 sacks apiece. They also combined for 6 QB hits. A lot of pressure being given by this defensive line of the Commanders.
Dominant. They're dominant. I mean, we're both amazed by them. We're all amazed by them. They're awesome in the pass game. They're awesome in the run game. They control the line of scrimmage, and it starts with the Alabama boys in the middle. This one being Jonathan Allen. I mean, oh my gosh. And then Deron Payne, Coach.
Yeah, that was power. This is quickness. Look at that for a 300-pounder. Wow.
Every year they drafted these guys in the first round. Allen, Payne, Sweat, Chase Young is coming. You know, every year. I'm like, what are they doing? Yeah, hard to block. Hard to block, and they're playing awfully well. And that guy's coming back here in the next couple of weeks.
Maybe when you were coaching the Cowboys, you should have drafted some of these guys in the first round and got them away from the command.
We were drafting those offensive linemen, Coach.
Jason, having a couple of flashbacks. We're going to let you take a moment to relax and bring in Mike Florio of Pro Football Talking. Mike, the Rams and the Bears, we both see their quarterbacks go down and get hurt. Let's start with Matthew Stafford. What's the latest with him?
Well, Maria, he was just cleared from the concussion protocol on Friday. He had missed last week's loss to the Cardinals. He exited in the third quarter for a concussion evaluation, but there's been no clarity as to whether or not he's back in the protocol. According to the team, he will undergo tests tomorrow. He is not in the protocol as of now. That's gotten the attention of the NFL's Players Association. They're monitoring the situation because in most cases, we know fairly quickly whether or not a guy is in or out of the protocol. And we saw Justin Fields, the Bears quarterback, grabbing at his shoulder. He had an X-ray after the game. He'll have further tests on that injured shoulder. He also had cramping in his hamstring. They play at the Jets next week. Trevor Siemian is the backup if for some reason Fields can't play.
All right, thanks, Mike. And obviously, Florio will have much more on PFT Live. Chris and Matthew Berry also host Unbuttoned and Fantasy Football Happy Hour. And Brother from Another has the latest on the entire sports world. All those shows throughout the week are on Peacock, the NFL, and NBC.
Listen to that one show. Listen to that one show.
I watch Unbuttoned. But speaking of Peacock, that's where you can watch the entire World Cup in Spanish. It started today with Ecuador beating the host nation Qatar, and tomorrow the U.S.
USA.
takes on Wales.
USA.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah.
We will win. We will win.
Shout out to our friends at Telemundo. We've got our swag. We are ready. We cannot wait for the U.S. and Wales tomorrow afternoon.
USA.
Part of the World Cup featuring soccer's biggest stars and voices.
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
The Kansas City Chiefs, they use the draft and free agency to enhance that secondary headline by first-round pick Trent McDuffie. Missed 6 games with a hamstring, but he's healthy now. And all indications show the front office hit big with the rookie corner. How do you see it?
I think they knocked it out the park with him, and he has this quiet confidence that he plays with. You watch him at the line of scrimmage. He's patient. He's athletic enough where he can run with these wide receivers. But what I want you to watch is when the ball is in the air and he's looking back, he's not panicking. He's not grabbing wide receivers. He's patient. He's knocking the ball down. He's going to be a really good player.
And you expect that from your top pick, right? But how about the 7th-round pick, Isaiah Pacheco? He's taken over that backfield. You were drawn to his game from the moment you first saw him.
The thing that I see with him is just the passion that he plays with. He's trying to play so physical. He's trying to run people over. He's trying to run through you. And Andy Reid, he gave Clyde Edwards-Helaire every opportunity to become the starter. Injuries, inconsistent play. But this kid has taken advantage of every opportunity. And, man, I tell you, it is a joy to watch this young man.
Hey, there's plenty of flash, but he brings an attitude to it. Remember Pacheco's fumble last week? And Andy Reid, he brought him right back into the game. He believes in him, and it is paying off now. Back over to you, Maria.
All right, appreciate it. And you can see how excited Rodney is. I do remember him early on in the season saying, but watch this Pacheco guy, watch him. He's coming off a game where he had 82 yards on 16 attempts, Coach, and averaged 5.7 yards per carry. What does just adding him into the lineup mean for the Chiefs?
Well, to me, when Andy Reid put him in the starting lineup, that signaled a change to me. You're putting the toughest guy, a strong runner. He's got Rodney excited. I think he's got the whole Chiefs team excited.
Absolutely. Kansas City makes so many wow plays out in space, but I think this helps their balance. And every play doesn't have to be a high wire act. It kind of settles them down a little bit, and that's when they play their best offense.
Yeah, and this is an offense that's had to rely on balance, injuries with wide receivers, injuries with running backs, and they've always found a way to make a victory come through for them. Right now, we're counting down to Sunday Night Football, the 5th ever meeting between Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert. It's history that tells us anything, then we should be in for a great one. Pretty much a shootout between quarterbacks. We'll wait and see what we have tonight for Sunday Night Football.
I'm causing mayhem. Sunday Night Mayhem, presented by Allstate.
Tied at 20, 58-yard field goal. It is good!
Can't be defeated.
The Chiefs put the hammer down in the biggest AFC West game in 5 years. 36 seconds remaining. Herbert toward the end zone. Mike Williams. The Chiefs get a big-time victory on a 99-yard pick six.
Football Night in America is brought to you by Applebee's. $1 for 5 boneless wings with any handcrafted burger.
Fine, baby. Where's the Winkler at, man? Where's he at?
Well, Mr. Kelsey, we have the answer for you. Henry Winkler is here. Here's the deal. Henry Winkler, of course, the Fonz from Happy Days fame, big Patrick Mahomes fan, was on Rich Eisen's show and said that he was a big fan of Patrick Mahomes. So Rich put the guys together, and now Henry Winkler is a guest of Patrick Mahomes here tonight. It's been a lot of happy days for the Chiefs. Not so happy days, I'm sorry, I had to use that pun, for the Chargers, especially Justin Herbert, because the offense has been so shorthanded. Really, you take their top 3 receivers and their tight end, Gerald Everett, only had them all together for one half, and Everett's out tonight, a big loss, but the return of Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, vitally important in this game. Mahomes against Herbert for the 5th time. Every time they've played, it's been a one-score game. We'll see if they give us a 5th on Sunday Night Football here in SoFi in a little bit. Back to the studio. I do the thumbs up and the A and the fonts thing, but I don't have the leather jacket. Here's Marie and the guys with more.
First of all, Mike, only you would know exactly why the fonts is there. So great work, my friend. And have a great call, okay?
You got it.
All right, let's get you back to the highlights. Lions taking on the Giants. Daniel Jones, the Giants sitting at 7-2, their best start since 2008, but it didn't start out too good for Jones. Intercepted by the rookie Aiden Hutchinson.
What an interception. I mean, for a defensive lineman, defensive end to go up, pluck this out of the air like T.J. Watt, J.J. Watt, pretty special. We're not used to seeing Daniel Jones make those type of mistakes.
Hutchinson has 2 interceptions over the last 3 games. Then the ensuing Lions drive. Jamal Williams, he'll take it.
Run game for the Lions was big today. And by the way, are you trolling me with that Lions color dress today? I don't know, because I'm a Giants fan. I'm taking it personal.
And I'm winning. Second half. Jones, what's it going to be? Chris, you call it.
It's an interception. It was a 4th and 5. Yes, he had to force the issue here. But this was unlike what we've seen from the Giants all year. They couldn't run the ball. They turned it over. The Lions ran the ball on them. Good for Dan Campbell in Detroit.
All right, the Lions have one more win than they did all last season. Congratulations. Eagles coming off a loss just 6 days ago against the Commanders. Now 3rd quarter, Eagles down 7. Hurts. He's sacked and drops the ball, fumbles.
Yes, the Indianapolis defense made some plays early in the game, gave their offense a chance, but Philly's red zone defense held up and held them to field goals.
Yeah, that's right. Colts would kick the field goal. Ensuing possession, go up 13-3. Then 4th quarter, Matt Ryan, he's sacked by Hassan Riddick.
Another red zone stop, forced the field goal, kept them in the game, gave them an opportunity for their offense to take turn.
All right, Hurts and the Eagles take over, down by the 6 with less than 5 minutes to go. What does Hurts do? Take it.
Run it.
Run it himself. Strong runner, got the 1st down, set this play up.
3 plays later, what's Hurts going to do here, Coach?
Might run the ball. You might want to watch Jalen Hurts running in the red zone.
How is there nobody, no quarterbacks by, nothing?
That was the moment Coach took his hat off and almost threw it in the film room, Coach.
Oh, my goodness.
But somehow the Eagles stay alive. They get the victory, 17-16. And obviously Jalen Hurts finds a way to get the victory in that one.
He sure does, and they've struggled here a little bit the last couple weeks, and the reason, I think, as much as anything else, Washington last week, a good defensive front, they ran the ball. Indianapolis, a good defense. They're trying to run the ball, limit the opportunities, but again, Philly finds a way at the end when you don't have your best stuff and you find a way to win the ball game. That's what championship teams do.
Yeah, that's right. Don't panic. Philly's still really good. It is. It's 2 tough matchups. This Indianapolis Colts defense is real. Their offense has been stinky the whole year, and they're still a top 5 defense. So 8 people at the line of scrimmage, right? That Seattle scheme that's got a lot of his old coaches' roots in there involved in it. They did a great job today and had people for all the things, the read options, all the run plays.
So I hear you saying that it's a bad matchup, but we also have to consider that they've had 6 turnovers over the last 2 games.
Sure.
They only rushed for, 141 yards today, 94 yards against the Commanders. Are there some things that we should be worried about?
Well, again, what the Colts had answers today for a lot of the different things, the RPOs, the passing game down the field. They had answers for the running game, running backs. What they didn't have an answer for was Jalen Hurts and his special abilities. Here was just a design run off the read option look. Here's a quarterback draw where let him spread out again, just use his talents. Then he comes up with the plays that are off script. Yes, right? That, you know, you've got everything covered, and
How do you defend
how do you even describe that?
That's right. Amazing.
This is what happens, and this is why they're winning, because they've got a lot of weapons, but he's the special sauce.
Yeah, he rushed for 49 yards and a touchdown in the fourth quarter, by the way, when he needed it most.
When nothing else was going
right. Exactly. Hurts found a way to get the victory. It's time now for a PFT update brought to you by Google Pixel. And Mike, the Eagles brought in a couple of defensive linemen this week, including Ndamukong Suh, and you spoke with them after the win.
Yeah, I asked him which teams he was considering at the end of the day, and he said it came down to the Eagles and the 49ers. And the talks with the Eagles began Monday and Tuesday, finished early Thursday in uniform today and contributing to the effort. And he took a team-friendly deal, and he said his most important objective is to win. He said, I've got twin boys. I've got one Super Bowl ring. I need a second one now. He thinks he'll get one with the Eagles.
Okay.
I love that. Every kid deserves a ring. All right, we'll see the Eagles next Sunday night against the Packers. By the way, when you see Mahomes shooting hoops before the game.
Yep, that's right.
He's bringing Steph Curry to Sunday Night Football.
Exactly.
With a spiral.
With a spiral.
This is what happens when we get together.
My goodness. Climbs the ladder. Oh, my goodness. There's no way. Are you kidding me with that catch?
This is what happens when we get together.
Let's all dominate. I didn't say nothing.
Is it football or gymnastics? Breaking open for the touchdown.
Keep it on. Keep it on.
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
Get together.
All right, Sunday Night Football is bringing us Chiefs and Chargers and some old school jerseys to get excited
Damian
about.
Tomlinson, Phillip Rivers.
Look.
Nigeria.
Nice one, him. Biggest neck roll ever.
How good was Antonio
Gates? All-timer. Derek Thomas. Off the edge. Man, Kellen Winslow.
Another great tight end.
A great tight
He
end.
runs a three-pump like Winslow.
Danny Woodhead. Whoa.
More LT in the powder blue.
Oh, there's Tomlinson.
LT.
Come on, loving the hat, though. Doesn't get better than that. Unless you're talking about BetMGM. Chris, take it away.
Yep, it's time for BetMGM Breakdown with my man Matthew Berry, the fantasy expert. He will give you all the answers you need for tonight. We got a good matchup tonight, as usual. We got two good quarterbacks. We know they're both going to throw the football around the lot a little bit. We saw the Chargers the first time in week 2 have some success in the pass game. Who is it you think Herbert's going to look for tonight?
Well, look, the focal point of this passing offense has been, will continue to be, my fantasy ride or die, Austin Eckler, fantasy royalty, LT in the house, the original LT3. Here's what I'm going to tell you about Austin Eckler, right? Last time they played the Chiefs, 9 receptions. He's had at least 6 receptions in every game this year except for 2, including 4 straight. And so facing the Kansas City Chiefs with Mike Williams back, stretching the field, I think the underneath will be even more open for Eckler. My expectation here is he gets at least 6 receptions tonight against a Chiefs team that gives up the most receptions to opposing running backs in the NFL.
Yeah, interesting you're going there. The Chargers run that Sean Payton West Coast offense. We saw in that Week 2 matchup, Andrew, to your point, they were surgical in a lot of the 5- and 8-yard completions to Eckler out of the backfield, some of the receivers over the middle. I wouldn't be shocked tonight if we saw Kansas City adjust to that, maybe play a little bit more man-to-man to take Eckler out of the passing game. And that's where I will say just watch out for Mike Williams with some one-on-one matchups.
I agree with that, and I also like his chances of getting into the end zone. He scored against them earlier this year. He scored in 3 of the 4 last games. He's played against the Chiefs. Chiefs, by the way, 5th most receiving touchdowns, I should say, allowed to opposing wide receivers. So, yeah, give me anytime touchdown for Mike Williams.
All right, so there you got it. Eckler, Mike Williams. Now, new BetMGM customers can sign up and bet $10 on any NFL game to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with bonus code NBC150. Maria, over to you.
All right, great job, guys. We all know Patrick Mahomes can pretty much do anything with a football, but playing quarterback for the Chiefs, it might not be his toughest job. Recently, I went down to Kansas City, spent some time with Mahomes, and he opened up about the new role he's taken on and off the field. Becoming a father, how does that change who Patrick Mahomes is at heart?
You have some long days up here at the facility, but whenever you're home and you're with your daughter and my son, when he gets here, you have to be dad. You have to be energized, ready to play, and Sterling has a ton of energy, and she loves to run around and do everything, and I mean, it makes you happy just to be around someone that just enjoys every single day like that.
Which game face is harder to put on?
Oh, I think sometimes it's at home. Sometimes you're tired, and you want to just lay on the couch, and Sterling does not play that. She wants to go out there and play at all times.
How is her development now? She's still showing you some athlete tendencies?
Oh, 100%. She still has the arm. She still can chunk the baseball throughout the whole entire living room. But she got up to a soccer ball now and she kicks it. But we didn't teach her that. I think she just watched us go into soccer games and learned that if you see a soccer ball laying around, she'll kick it, dribble it down. I think she's a natural athlete. And hopefully my son's the same way when he comes here in November or December.
This magic moment.
That might literally be the cutest gender reveal I've ever seen in my whole entire life. Like, I'm just gonna wake up every morning and watch it now. Watching you jump into the pool and be so excited. What kind of stage dad are you gonna be?
I'm gonna stay out of the way. I think that's gonna be the best thing for me. I'm gonna help teach my son, my daughter, all the fundamentals and whatever they wanna learn. But at the same time, I wanna stay out of the way and let it be about them.
All right, so baby boy Mahomes is due on December 3rd. They do play the Bengals on December 4th, so I'm just letting you guys all know that if he has to take leave for personal reasons, that
no chance. No chance. He'll be playing football. I think so. I think he likes football.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. We'll ask Brittany. But we do know for a fact he's going to play tonight against the Chargers. The question is, should the Chargers defense, who is, dinged up, no Joey Bosa, to blitz or not to blitz this guy?
Well, every coordinator goes against these guys feeling like, boy, I've got to get pressure on Mahomes. But if you blitz, Jason, you take a risk.
It's a risk, but you can't just sit there. This guy will shred you if you just sit there. So the answer is you got to mix it up. And here's a good example. This is Kyle Van Noy on a 3rd and short. The off-the-ball linebacker coming right down the middle. They play man-to-man coverage behind it. He gets home. Success for the Chargers.
All right, so you get a big
mix it up. They blitz there, coach.
They blitz them. You get a big 3rd down stop, and they say, okay, we can come after these guys. We got them. Well, let's go a little further now. We look here and we see 6 guys at the line of scrimmage. Nobody in the middle of the field. What do you think is going through Patrick Mahomes' mind right now, Chris?
That if I got somebody going deep down the middle, he's going to be wide open.
Yeah,
especially with outside leverage.
Here they come. Now they pick up the blitz this time. Okay, we got Travis Kelce tripled, but look out. There's
ding, 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 ding.
Justin Watson and Patrick Mahomes. 50 yards on a rope.
50 yards on a rope with body positioning that we've never seen before in the history of our life. I mean, no feet on the ground, Gumby. Nobody. Who makes this throw?
I've seen you make that throw, Cindy.
I don't know. You must have been dreaming.
I don't want to let him do this. Stay back, rush 4 guys, protect the deep part of the field, make him throw 5 or 10 passes to score.
No question. Make him earn it. Make him go the long way over and over again. Rally and tackle every so often. Bring some heat.
No, I don't know about every so often.
I do think that Kansas City's gotten good enough where if you play soft all game long, he'll take it underneath. So every now and then, but you can't overdo it or Coach Dungy will be right. It could be 6.
I feel like you gave me more problems than solutions trying to come up with the Chargers team, but that's what they are. I know. They lead the league in scoring, and Mahomes leads the league in touchdowns and passing yards, so that's why it's a lot of problems. Back to the highlights. We got Carolina taking on Baltimore. The Ravens are at M&T Bank Stadium. Baker Mayfield making his first start since week 5. Coach, 4th quarter, Panthers down. Mayfield gets the pass off to Shi Smith, but it's ripped away by Marcus Peters.
Yeah, and that's really a good job by Peters, staying with it. No one knows what's happening here. The whistle was blown, but Baltimore gets the ball. That is a fumble, and they get the recovery.
So the Ravens would get the ball and capitalize, though. Lamar Jackson with this 1-yard keeper.
Yeah, it was a tough day offensively. Lamar gets it in here. Wasn't easy for that Baltimore offense.
First rushing touchdown since week 3 for Jackson. The Ravens coming off the bye, win their 4th straight game. First place in NFC North. All right, let's do it. Bengals and Steelers. Big play?
Big play, Bengals.
Okay, 3rd quarter, Burrow to Higgins.
Big play. T. Higgins up the sideline. Coach is shaking his head because he's going, why would you play man-to-man against that guy?
That was
and bump and run at that.
Okay, now he's looking for Trenton Irwin for the touchdown.
Yeah, had a good day, Joe Burrow. They had a great game plan today, and when people were throw open downfield. He was an aggressive decision maker.
Okay.
He's always accurate with these type of throws.
That was the first career touchdown for Irwin, but here he is again.
He's not done yet.
No.
That's right. Catch a little out route, makes a move up the sideline, and then Joe Burrow, he knows how to finish off a drive. P. Ryan, touchdown. Bengals win.
6-yard touchdown is good. A career high 3 touchdowns for P. Ryan. The Bengals have won 6 of their last 8 games, and we're talking big play Bengals again, Jason. We had 6 receivers actually make a play of 20 yards or more. What did you see?
And no Jamar Chase, which is a big part of this thing. So they're finding different guys to do it. It just goes to show that Joe Burrow, that guy playing quarterback for him, is awfully good. He knows how to get it done. Love how he uses his backs. Love how he uses Mixon here on the in cut.
A deep in cut.
How about that?
Right? I mean,
pretty talented guy to do that. The screen game was alive and well for him.
Not every ball has to go 40 yards down the field.
Right. We thought one thing that I think jumped out to us is Burrow was patient. He took the backs to some underneath routes, which I think then forced the Steelers into some of these one-on-one situations. And Burrow, like we talked about with Mahomes, he's such an aggressive decision maker. He's always looking for the big play down the field.
Well, we saw Joe Mixon, though, go out in the 3rd quarter with a concussion, something we'll certainly be keeping an eye on. But ultimately, the Burrow Bengals, they roll.
Big plays are back.
They're back. They're back. All right, we're still waiting for Sunday Night Football to kick off. We've got Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs on the road in SoFi, taking on the Chargers.
Welcome to the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff.
Well, every time the young superstars of the AFC West link up, we are in for a spectacle. Patrick Mahomes, he's been the best quarterback in football. What else is new? And Justin Herbert aims to dethrone his division rival with his top wide receivers back tonight. Let's go on the field, presented by Hyundai. Reinforcements, they arrive right on time. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, they can change everything for LA. You were just talking to him. What'd you hear?
And everybody's talking about this is a dink and dunk offense. But with these guys, they really open up the offense. They can take shots down the field, and you know what you're getting from these veteran players.
And Chris Jones, one of the best personalities in the NFL, the heartbeat for Kansas City defensively. He got paid, and his production only went up from there.
I believe he's the most dominant defensive player in all of football. You can play him in the inside, you can play him in the outside, and when you need that one play, Chris Jones is going to make it.
And Rodney, you were just walking around talking to everybody. What did you notice as these teams get set?
Well, I talked to somebody on the Kansas City side, and they said they're going to run the football at the Chargers. Then I saw the wide receivers, and they just seemed so confident. They're beaming with confidence, so it's not like they're second-guessing themselves. They're ready to play. Keenan Allen.
I said, Keenan Allen, how you feeling? He said, I feel great. Smiled, a wink, said, I'm ready to rock and roll. Ready to rock. Back over to you, Maria Taylor.
We feel great, too. We're ready to rock and roll. In fact, we got the last few highlights, guys. You ready to jump right into it? Let's do it. Cleveland taking on Buffalo. Now, remember, for the Bills,
rough week.
A lot of snow falling down, so the game has to be moved to the Motor City. Look what the Lions said. Important numbers by the phone. Lock up when you leave. Don't break the tables, though. To the second quarter we go. Jacoby Brissett looking in the end zone. Arrow Brown cannot hang on to it, though.
It was a big drop early on in this game. Cleveland could have gone ahead by a large margin. Bills come back. They just looked a lot more settled today, more balanced. Here's Allen to Diggs. But the running game was big, the play-action game. This is the way they need to play. This is Singletary. He and Cook both had big days for the Bills.
Yep. And the Bills would be tied at the AFC, top of the AFC East.
Rogie Pete, how about that?
Buffalo fans there.
And look, the Bills tweeting right back. We left the tables intact for Thanksgiving dinner. See you in a few days, Detroit Lions. The final score, 31-23. Bills back to their winning ways after falling to the Vikings at home. The Jets on the road taking on the New England Patriots, trying to end a 13-game losing streak to them game tied with under 3 minutes to play. Wilson finds Michael Carter, loss of 2 yards on that play.
Not a lot of offense for the Jets, almost none in the second half.
Yep, sets up fourth down. Jets are punting. Looks like we're going to head into overtime, right, Coach? Right?
Long punt right down the middle, only 20 seconds left. and this is a disaster for the Jets.
The rookie, Marcus Jones, feels it at his own 16, finds the sideline, and it's gone. 84 yards for the win. That's the NFL's first punt return for a touchdown this season. It'll be good to call game.
Yes, it will. And this was really well set up by the Patriots. They didn't go for the block. They went for the return. A lot of questions about this block right here at the end. We talked to the NFL office. They said it was from the side, not the back.
Okay, well, the Patriots get their 14th straight win over the Jets, sweep the Jets for the 7th
what
straight
they
season. Sounds like you don't agree, Coach, but
I go with the NFL league office.
Guys, the Jets offense certainly struggling, could only muster 2 yards in the second half. Let's hear from their quarterback, Zach Wilson, after the game.
As an offense, though, I mean, when you guys are only able to score 3 points, the defense only lets up 3 points. I mean, do you feel like you let the defense down at all?
No. I mean, we all got to be more detailed. We all got to have a better plan. This not okay. I mean, straight up, it's not okay. We had how many total yards we had?
100, a little over 100.
Yeah, just not gonna fly. So.
All right, they'll try to make it fly against the Bears next week. We've got the Cowboys taking on the Vikings. Vikings coming off that huge win against the Bills. Kirk Cousins, remember, led a 17-point second half comeback in Buffalo. But second quarter we go. Cowboys up 10. Prescott gets it to Pollard.
And they really spread the ball around to a lot of people, but Tony Pollard was fantastic today.
30 yards for a touchdown, completely untouched. But the Cowboys up 20-3 to the second half we go. More of the same. Prescott looking for Pollard.
Yes, 3rd and 14. And what do you think? We just dump it off? No, Wilson, Tony Pollard deep on a linebacker, one-on-one, touchdown.
68-yard touchdown. Pollard's 6th touchdown in the last 3 games, 189 total yards on the day for him. And then Ezekiel Elliott, he's going to get involved.
Yeah, and this part was missing when Zeke was out. That bang, pound him in, Jason.
Great 1-2 combination. Zeke, physical, dirty work. Pollard out in space, making plays.
Look at all the Cowboys stars really showing up and showing out. Dallas's 3rd win in the last 4 games, and they snapped Minnesota's 7-game win streak with that huge win. Now it's time for the Sunday night game flow presented by Progressive, and we're going to talk about the Dallas D, though, Chris Sims.
Yes, we are, because the Dallas D was back. They struggled last week against the Green Bay Packers. We know that. But they dominated the Minnesota Vikings offense today in Kirk Cousins, and it started with their pass rush. Yeah, they did a good job stopping the run, but they got the Vikings into some passing situations, and when that happens, that allows you to put number 11 at defensive end, and he's the best pass rusher in football coming off the edge. And then this guy's not bad either. DeMarcus Lawrence, the Dallas D was phenomenal today. They dominated on 3rd down. That's why they won the game, Maria.
All right, that was the Sunday night game flow presented by Progressive. But, Coach, let's take it from there. I mean, we saw that the defense played well, but what is your takeaway from the Vikings?
Well, the Minnesota offense, what you have to do against the Cowboys, you've got to get your run established so those guys just can't tee off. They never got that going. They were a little bit one-dimensional, and, boy, they had problems blocking that Dallas pass rush.
Minnesota, best record in football, right? Dallas went up there and they bludgeoned them in all phases of the game. Simsy said it right on the defense. Minnesota could never get anything going. And when Dallas plays that way on offense, they run the football, they mix it up. They were so balanced. Pollard, Zeke, they threw it to different receivers. Dak was under control. 22 out of 25, Simsy, just like your old man back in the Super Bowl.
I like that one.
You know, Dak was fantastic. A huge win for the Cowboys.
Yeah, defense has 7 sacks, 1 takeaway, only allowed 3 points. Certainly impressive. But we want to run it back to the Bills. Remember, they were taken out of their home stadium. We saw all the snow. And Mike Florio, you had a chance to speak with Deion Dawkins about it.
Yeah, Deion Dawkins told me that in the region, the snow amounts were so different that at his house, he said if there had been that much snow at the airport, they never would have gotten to Detroit. And for him, he had to hike through 3 blocks of 6 feet of snow just to get to the point where he could get in a car that took nearly an hour to get to the team facility. He said now that it's all over, what he's going to do, he's going to go back to his phone, he's going to print off all the text messages with his teammates and save them to read in the future, because it was just chaos. Nobody knew anything, and they really did go for a period of time thinking they weren't going to make it to Detroit.
Wow. When I saw all the neighbors coming out, Coach, and they were like plowing the driveways, I knew that the Bills were going to make it to Detroit.
Mafia, baby.
The Bills Mafia showed up. Yep, and and they came to the Motor City as well. All right, it's time for the Sunday Night 7 featuring a $100,000 jackpot. Matthew, how many passing touchdowns for Justin Herbert tonight?
I think multiple, Maria. So much talk about Patrick Mahomes. How about Justin Herbert, who's had an inconsistent year, but finally getting Mike Williams back? You heard Jack say that Keenan Allen feels really good. So give me 2 touchdowns for Justin Herbert. Remember, the Chiefs have allowed multiple passing touchdowns in every game this year except for one. And then Sunday Night 7 has a fun question here. Who scores the last touchdown of the game? And you know what option I want at the very end? Any other Chargers player, because that includes both Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. When they had to set the questions, didn't know if those guys were going to play. So a little bit of a cheat there, but you know what? More options, 2 of the best players. Give me any other Chargers player on Sunday Night 7 tonight, Maria.
All right, well, you can make your picks for free on the NBC Sports Predictor app. Take a look, guys. The Chiefs, they have made the road trip to SoFi Stadium. They want to see Kansas City playing on Sunday night. All right, we are counting down to Sunday Night Football. Patrick Mahomes taking on Justin Herbert and the Chargers in SoFi. They won round 1. We'll see if they can get a sweep of the Chargers as we get you set for kickoff. But first, the best of Week 11 brought to you by MetaQuest. Jason.
Just love what Philadelphia did. They were behind throughout most of this ball game. They lost last week. Doubt can creep in. They didn't let it. They made the plays when they needed to. Jalen Hurts running in. Nick Sirianni doing a heck of a job with the Eagles and telling those Colts fans all about it.
All right, fellas, and how about those Cowboys getting the huge victory 40-3 against the Vikings?
Yeah, offense played great. Minnesota on offense had trouble protecting. They lost their left tackle, Christian Darrisaw, to a concussion. That could be a problem as they really experienced problems blocking Micah Parsons.
Yeah, that Dallas defense, 7 sacks, 1 takeaway, only 3 points allowed, and Dallas won their 3rd in the last 4 games.
Look at this. Bills running game, Maria. Josh Allen's underneath center. We got a little balance on the offensive side of the ball. I know that'll make Coach Dungy and Coach Garrett happy. Whoa. Finally, Josh Allen didn't have to do everything, but I think this will be big for them moving forward.
And New England defense, pass rush, coverage, special teams play. They're getting to their winning formula.
All right. Well, that was the best of Week 11 brought to you by MetaQuest. You got a wish for extraordinary. Let's hear from head coach Bill Belichick, obviously enthused.
Great team win for us today. The Jets are tough, like they always are. We knew it was going to expected this kind of a game. And, they're the best fourth quarter team in football. So, we knew it was going to be a battle there all the way to the end.
That's as upbeat as I've heard him in a long time.
I told you he was enthusiastic. But let's talk about the AFC East. If the Jets would have won, they would have been holding up on top of it. But obviously they lose to New England, and every single team in the division has a winning record right now.
Yeah, it's a tough division, but I'll tell you, coming into December, the weather gets colder, running the ball, playing defense becomes a premium. We're going to see some things change around in that division.
No doubt. Miami had a bye this week, so kind of out of sight, out of mind, but they're still certainly in the mix and maybe at the top of that group. But love the mental toughness of Buffalo, dealing with the snow, going there and getting a win in Detroit. And New England finding a way. They've done this before. They're tough out.
All right, let's talk about the NFC East. Obviously, Philly's still on top coming off. They lost to the Commanders. They get a victory today. Thanks to Jalen Hurts, though, come behind win against the Colts. Are we worried at all? Any concern to be shown for Philadelphia?
They haven't steamrolled here the last couple weeks like they had earlier in the year, but they found a way. That mental toughness, those gritty wins in November, they served you well down the stretch. Dallas was incredible. New York took a step back. That game on Thursday between Dallas and New York is going to be a big one to figure out what's going to happen. And, hey, Washington hanging in the race.
Yeah, Eagles are finding a way to win, which you always like to see. But, boy, I love the way the Cowboys played, and Dak Prescott looked fantastic today.
Yeah, huge win for the Cowboys, and they've got the Giants on Thanksgiving. But it's time now for our home team picks, brought to you by Lowe's. We start with America's pick and Jack Collinsworth.
Maria, 77% of the country is on the Chiefs. LA, they took the fight to San Francisco last Sunday night, but could not hang on late. Justin Herbert, he gets his star receivers back. But hey, you got to beat the king to take the crown. Mahomes,
come on, man.
He still runs the AFC West. I'm taking Kansas City.
You're going with him again.
Absolutely.
You always go with the favorites.
100%.
For me, I'm excited about seeing Isaiah Pacheco, the Chiefs rookie running back. But, man, these wide receivers coming back, I know it's going to give a big boost to this offense. It's going to really open up this offense. I'm going to ride with the Chargers tonight.
I see a lot of red in this building.
It's
right
a
here
lot
behind
of
me. Mike Flory, who you going with?
Well, you know, I got to go with the Chiefs. Matthew, we talked about this on Fantasy Football Pregame. Kadarius Toney learning the offense a little bit more, maybe doing more this week, helping the Chiefs win.
Yeah, and I also think you see Isaiah Pacheco. Chargers really struggle to stop the run. I think you'll see a consistent run game from Kansas City tonight. This game makes me nervous. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people in Vegas think, but give me the Chiefs to win. Chris?
Chargers pass the ball too much. I think that plays in favor of the Chiefs defense. And this Chiefs offense, they got it all working. You guys talked about Pacheco, the screen game. We know Mahomes wants to throw it down the field. I like the Chiefs in this one.
All right, I'm sticking with Chris. I'm going with the Chiefs as well. Jason?
Hey, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams coming back will help the Chargers. They'll throw it down the field more. They'll make some of those plays we're used to see them making. But Kansas City's tough, and they're balanced. They're going to overcome the injuries. I take the Chiefs.
Well, the ball is going to be in the air a lot tonight. The Chiefs, 2 of their best receivers are out. The Chargers, 2 of their best receivers are coming back. Only makes sense to me that the Chargers are going to throw better than the Chiefs tonight and win the game.
Yeah, because this was a 3-point game in week 2. I mean, we saw the quarterbacks going off, and it was a little bit more of a showdown than maybe all of us expected.
Pick 6 turned the game
around, so it could come down to defense. Those were the home team picks brought to you by Lowe's. I'm glad that Rodney picked the Chargers, so we didn't all go Chiefs. But the Chiefs fans in SoFi, they want to finish. I'm sorry, Coach, I forgot about you. That's on me. We've got Mike, Chris, and Melissa with kickoff after this.
This has been the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff. Spanish language audio provided by Telemundo Deportes. Or watch tonight's game in Spanish on Universo.